Today we're leaving to go up to a nice little pond that I sometimes ice fish in. We're going to break a road in there, take our gear up and spend the night. That's if we can get there. Let's give it a whirl. Stay tuned. Skidoo back here. Oh!
Holy cow!
In this small sled I have all my ice fishing gear, and in this bigger sled I put all my hot tent and food and stuff. Here, come on, get after this. That's what we call slab here in Labrador, and as you get deeper snow and it starts warming up a little bit sometimes, it really comes on thick. I just ran through some here with my snow machine, and that's the dreaded stuff, because once she's caught in that, she sticks on like crazy glue, and it's heavy as lead. I can't get any closer to that too because I don't want to step into it. I already broke through there in one place just walking from the Skidoo back here. Oh! Just like that. Yeah, she's hateful. So I can see someone was hauling logs over here. You got their sled stuck by the looks of it, and they left one log on the ice there. That's hateful. Hopefully we don't come across a lot of that today. None, I hope, especially on the pond where we're going fishing. Alright, so there's lots of fresh snow in here. I'm going to take these sleds off and go break the road for hopefully at least a kilometer or so, and then come back and pick them up and do that a couple times now until I get to the pond if the going's good enough. I'm also going to put her in sport mode. I usually drive her in standard mode, but doing this kind of stuff is good to have that option, you know, so I'll flick her up to sport mode. Makes her a bit more powerful, you know. Really fresh lynx track there. That was definitely made today. Let's look at how defined they are. Well guys, we made it. I gotta flick back now and get the sleds now. It wasn't too bad actually. I did come in there probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, and even that made a little bit of difference, but I know it was well under the top of the snow, but every little bit counted. So I'll run back and get the sleds now. Well guys, we made it to the pond, and I'm going to look at this area in right here to put up my tent, because the sun is facing from the south. I want to capitalize on that, and the wind is kind of coming this way, so it'll be nice and sheltered in there, I think. Take my snowshoes now and go in and set up the tent. First off, I'm not going to tape the whole process of set up the tent. I'll leave a link right in this video here whereby you can go and look at where I first set it up and how I did it. So let's get to setting up our tent. Hey Will. Of course, in here I have my ice fishing tent and some other supplies. Everything's enclosed in this one bag, and I converted it into a hot tent. So I'll go ahead and set that one up now. You're getting sleepy. You have a nap already. Ain't go sleep yet. A lot of work to do. So she's all set up. All the guy wires are put around the four sides. Got my stovepipe all secured. Next step is to go cut some wood. Next priority. Wants to go ice fishing, but gotta look after the first things first. Lots of old dry wood here. I'll pick out half a dozen of them now and fill up that sled. Well, I was going to use the chainsaw today to speed it up a little bit, but my starter coil is frozen up there. So luckily I got my buck saw. I'll take this saw back to the hot tent and saw it out. But in the meantime, we'll make do with the buck saw. One good thing about a buck saw, it doesn't need gas and it doesn't freeze up. There we go, it's not bad. Get back to the camp now. Get a little fire going, thaw out our saw, and hopefully it works. If not, we'll junk it all up with buck saw. Alright, let's switch sleds and go drill a couple holes. Put that ribbon on there to keep the line moving, you know, it keeps almost like a little jigging action to your fishing line all the time. Keeps the hook moving down the bottom. Now, you've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again. I am by far not at all an expert in ice fishing. In fact, I'm really bad at it. Holy cow! Wow! Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. I just put the hook down there. See, Willow. That's incredible. Must have been a fish right there. Wow! Let's put her back down again. I can honestly say that has never happened before. To other people all around me, but never to me. Alright, I think I'm just going to go over here just a few yards and put out another line. Use a full worm in summertime, just a piece, but I want to maximize my chances. Whereas wintertime, I just find it's hard to catch them in the wintertime. So it probably looks better than just a little tiny piece of worm, I guess. And here's the part where I should tell people I'm not very good at ice fishing. See another one stray. I doubt it. That was a fluke, no doubt. Not a lot of water, maybe a couple feet in under the ice, and no special secret, just pulling it up maybe 8 inches off the bottom. Again, I put this ribbon up so some wind will catch it, do its work. Alright, that's the third one, guys. So that's nothing fancy, it's a piece of board with some fishing line on it, but it'll suffice. Now just a waiting game. It's a bit windy out here, cold, so probably stay here an hour or so anyway. Just keep on the other lines there, the other one's right there, so I'll just keep walking around checking them now. Well, I was only gone about 15 minutes, maybe 20. Oh, this is fast, how fast it freezes over, especially when there's a bit of wind on the go like this. Keep in mind, it's supposed to go to minus 14 today. So it won't take long for it to freeze over. And that was the only fish we had earlier on. Ain't that the way fishing is? So I just had one on and I lost it, and he robbed my worm. And I just noticed that the other line just fell down the hole. I don't know if it was wind or if there's a fish on there. So I'm going to run up and check down as soon as I put a worm on this one real quick. Let's see what we got. Yes. Oh. Nope. Must have just been the wind. Very exciting. Is it Willow? Not getting enough fish. Yeah, one more would be nice, but might have that one for our breakfast tomorrow morning. That one I caught already. Yeah, one more. We'd have one each. Yeah, one for me and one for Willow. Imagine that. Get some water. Get some nice fresh water for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee later on. Freezing cold, crisp water. Well, it's been about an hour and a half now. Got that one fish. I had that one other one on. Took my worm. And that's it. Getting pretty cold. It's always cold ice fishing. This is like April month or something here in Labrador. It's always cold. I can't help but think about last week, you know, I was in Dominican Republic with my family down at the resort, and it was so hot. Just laid back on the lawn chairs, you know, and it was just so nice, and people tending on you hand and foot, and it's almost like a little break from reality, I suppose. I don't know how to describe it, but you guys have been down, you know what it's like. It was really nice for that week. But the weird thing about it is, when I was down on that beach, relaxing in those lawn chairs, whenever I'd have a few moments to spare in my own mind and thoughts, I'd think about being right here. They gotta be weird. And I used to try to steer my thoughts away from it, you know, because you're on a holiday, you're away from that stuff, eh? But no, it's keep coming back. I'd think about getting on Skidoo or taking Willow and setting up the tent and being out here like this. I don't know. I think it's weird. Whoa! Look at that! Oh, I lost it right there! I lost it right there! Holy cow! Let me get another hook worm on. It seems like when I start talking to the camera, I catch a fish. Oh, it was right there, right on the top of the hole. Alright. That's crazy. Maybe he's still there. I don't think it jigged hard enough. You know, I kind of got a fright there, of course. It happens when you're sitting there for like an hour and nothing happens. Then all of a sudden something nibbles and you kind of lose your composure for a few moments. At least I do. And I know there's one there. That's twice I've had him on. And I changed my hook. My hook was dull, very dull, the first one I had on, and I actually left all my hooks, my extra hooks, back at my cabin. But I found one hook that was a little sharper, and I put that one on here, but I still don't think it's really doing the job. That's my excuse. So I think that's it. I think we'll head in for some supper now. We're really hungry. I know I am. You want to go back for some supper? What a beautiful day today, guys. Just did some fishing and now we're in to have some supper. And it'll be it then. We'll just relax for the night. I got a book there and stuff like that, so we'll take it easy from here on in. Minus 8.5. So cold it is outside. That's really nice and warm. The wind's died now too, so even better. So I brought this carbon monoxide detector with me this time. I know we had a lot of discussion on my channel there from subscribers who talked about carbon monoxide, you know, with propane heat and butane heat and wood heat. And I know with when I used to have this out ice fishing and I'd had a propane heater, within an hour I felt myself getting nauseous. And I'd had to have like the windows open and part of the door because I can't stand it at all. But now I've been in this tent a lot with the wood stove going, and it doesn't seem to be an issue at all. So anyway, I got the carbon monoxide detector here tonight, and I'll monitor the levels, see if there's anything to be concerned about or not. Bring it here. Bring it here. Bring it here. Here, you give me that. You give me that stick. You give me that stick. I got a new Woods cot. I bought a Canadian Tire. A little bit lighter, probably a bit faster to set up than my other cot. Give that one a try tonight now. This should be tons of wood for tonight. It's only going to go down to minus 19 Celsius, I think, tonight anyway. So that's not too bad. The sleeping bag I got is almost good for that, sure. We'll keep it nice and warm though, just the same. So you saw me use the vacuum sealer this morning. I put a couple mousse steaks in a very simple marinade all night, like soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of Montreal steak spice. So this morning I took it out of the fridge and I vacuum sealed it. So now I'm going to take those out and fry them up. One for me and one for Willow. Alright, so it's time for them to come off and cool down a bit. And I'm going to put some marinated carrots in there then. I grow carrots in my garden at the cabin, and onions and stuff like that, and I make marinated carrots out of it. It's a great little side dish. Go with something like this. There they are. Of course, Willow doesn't get any of these because there's onions in them. She'll be just happy with that full steak to herself. To top it all off now, I brought along some steak sauce. Here we go. Guys, that is some tender meat. A lot of you guys ask me what mousse tastes like, and it's got a bit of a unique taste, but just look how tender that is. Look. Knife just goes right down through like a hot knife through butter. Kind of a beefy taste to it, but depends on what kind of mousse you get too. If you get a nice cow, and it might taste like beef. If you get a big old bull moose in the middle of mating season, then it's going to taste gamey, you know. But this one tastes absolutely delicious. These new boots, give them a try. So you don't have to put on your great big boots when you're going around the camp nighttime. They're insulated and they're soft, and they got a bit of a rigid bottom, not too bad. If you're able to walk around outside and go out and use the washroom or pick up some firewood or whatever. So I'll give them a try tonight too. Made by Baffin. Checking the carbon monoxide detector every now and then, but she's still registering at 0, so it must be good here. Come on, easy. And last night was a bit chilly outside, and I kept the fire going all night, and you can see I burned a nice bit of wood. I used to put wood in about at least once an hour, more like every 45 minutes or so. I wouldn't put a whole lot in, maybe just 1 or 2 junks. I had my clothes hung up, drying, so everything is nice and bone dry now. 7:45 now, so I'm gonna have some coffee and then get some breakfast on the go. course, Willow stayed up on the bed with me last night again. I don't even know why I bring her a wool blanket. She's only up with me 10 minutes after she lies in anyway. There's lots of room here for two of us. We had a big old nap, didn't we? And we have the fish that we caught yesterday. So I wore those boots out around the camp all last night, and while walking around in here is a lot easier, of course, than big old clunky glacier sorrels I got there. So, and not once did my feet feel cold. Like I say, even though I walked outside many times. So I'm definitely going to take those with me on any winter excursions now. So easy to slip on and off. Nice and toasty and warm. You don't even know they're on your feet if you just stick another pair of socks. So I checked the carbon monoxide detector every time I got up last night. Stayed on 0 the whole night, and gives me peace of mind, you know, that there's no harmful levels of carbon monoxide in here. You know, I always leave about a foot of the door zipper open so a bit of air can get in, plus some air can get around the stove jack up there. And even here in the window, somewhere along the way, I've had it a few years now, it cracked on me or punched a hole into it, so there's a bit of air can get in there too. So there's a bit of air coming in there and air escaping, so it's looking good. Just like these ptarmigan sausages and fresh trout. Actually, the fish looks done now, so I'm going to take that out and share it with Willow as an appetizer to the sausage. Just look at that. Fresh pond trout. Speckled trout. We got our fish gone. The ptarmigan sausage is just about ready as well, so yummy. Round 2. Some more of that steak sauce there. Dipping. Too hot, is it? She don't like anything, even if it's warm. She don't fancy it. She gotta wait for it to cool down. Okay, before I forget, a lot of you asked me about my sleeping bag and sleeping apparatus in total. I just have this is a -7, I believe, or -8 sleeping bag, and I have it put inside of just a 0 degree Celsius sleeping bag, and I've used this in the hot tent. Now of course you don't need a real cold one, but I do have, you could probably just get away with one, but just in case something went screwy with the stove, well, it's a nice warm sleeping bag. When you put one inside the other, apparently it really increases the insulation factor on it. So, and underneath that, I think I showed you yesterday, this is a 1.5 inch foam pad, self-inflating pad, and that makes a huge difference because that warms up, and because it's really cold down on the base or the floor of outside like this, but this keeps you nice and warm. I must say that is a essential thing as far as I'm concerned. And the cot worked out well. It was nice and comfortable as well, and we had a great sleep. And for the pillow, coming back, you know, you're bringing a lot of gear with you. I don't usually bring a pillow. I just kind of bunch up my coats and use that as my pillow. It works fine. See how well the whole Skandic starts this morning. Well guys, that was another wonderful trip here in Big Land, Labrador. 2 wonderful sunny days, not too cold. Had a nice, warm, comfortable night in the hot tent, worked out well again. And we both enjoyed ourselves, had a couple good meals, and even caught a fish, which is not something that happens to me every day. Please leave me a comment on if you got any fishing tips. Please leave me a tip or two. And but anyway, thanks for watching guys. And we'll catch you on the next one for sure. Take care.